It's good, YouTube. Cardfight King here. AQUA Life Baby. You already know how it is. Hi, I haven't seen you guys in a minute. I just want to make a video talking about something that just pissed me off. I was having a discussion with somebody and it just took a turn for... but I want to do 3 other videos. One being lack of Vanguard content from, like YouTube creators and whatnot. Just a discussion, and one I just really wanted to see community feedback. That's more or less what that is. So just stay tuned for that discussion. Another one's going to be a quick channel update. Probably going to do that next. And then I wanted to talk about AquaForce, go a little bit in depth with builds and things like that. And why I'm not impressed with certain builds and things like that and whatnot. I'll get into that discussion of AquaForce soon. Hope you guys join me for that one. It's probably going to be a good one. I might do a live discussion of that too. But for this video, I just wanted to go... and I hate having conversations like this too. But I hate when people, go with this, and it follows the saying, easier said than done. And I hate when people just, sit there, say it like it's something consistent that's going to happen. You're sitting there playing a deck like AquaForce or Nova Grab, but they're like, oh, well, first turn, you have like Tidal Assault to get multiple attacks. You have Melania, who's going to draw cards, things like that. It's like, no, you don't have that all the time. People look at like Nova Grapplers, you have Victor. Oh, you have Sazanda. You have the other version of Sazanda. You have Aberrail. You're going to restand and get a bunch of attacks. Sazanda's going to be at 36,000, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you don't always draw into those cards. In decks that don't have the ability to search, superior call, generally on a consistent basis, why do people just sit there and assume because those plays are what you have, that you're going to have them all the time? Plenty of times I'm playing against a Nova Grappler player who strides into grade 4 Victor and throws out a trigger because they don't have the grade, they don't have their grade 2s. I'm playing Chaos Breaker. They say, oh, you can just sit there and lock this card, lock up their board, and all this. You don't open up with your grade 2s, more specifically Photon and Iron, in a sense. Maybe some people play the 8K card that costs 2 Counterblasts, whatever it is. But if you generally don't open up with one of those cards, you're gonna have a harder time locking up the board, especially if someone does that strategy of throwing their hand out to prevent you from using Chaos Universe, and then you have to use the on rise skill. And if you have Chaos Bringer but no other grade 2 or something like that, it's going to be kind of hard. Sure, you can, get it out with, you can use Carbon to get out the crit trigger to get another lock, but then you're going to be leaving front rows open, and it's going to be, it's a wash. Again, that is a deck where, yes, you can search out with Playmaker your grade 1s or less Starvaders, but you can't search out, the key cards that you need to lock. For AquaForce, it's like, I'm not always going to have Melania. I'm not always going to have Stacia, Tidal Assault, Adelaide, Magma Assault, whatever it is. You're not always going to have, you're going to get bad hands at times. And so certain decks, even despite them having draw power, whatever it is, you can be playing Great Nature. Now, this is something I hear from Great Nature players a lot. We have all this draw power, but we can't really draw into our shields. I watched Black Sea when he played Great Nature a bunch of times. We have a Great Nature player. I watch him play a lot of times. They'll draw 7 cards, not get 1 damn perfect card. And, then they're sitting there dropping a majority of their hand to guard a push turn or something like that. I've seen it all the time. They do draw into it, on occasion, but it's like, in decks that you can't really search or add things to hand or superior call, whatever it is, nothing is guaranteed. And I don't get why people say that, you can just do this, that, and whatever, when it's easier said than actually done, because that situation just doesn't happen all the time. I'm going to sit there and counter with well, what if this happens? What if this happens? I'm like, the reason why I'm saying, what if you do not have this, this, and this, is because people just are not seeing the fact that a lot of plays that you can do with certain decks like this, like AquaForce and Nova Grapplers and whatever it is, you can't do all these plays that you're saying if you don't draw into those cards. Sometimes you have to ride your cards. Sometimes you have to ride. It's like, sometimes like, oh, okay, I can ride up to grade 3, but I don't have a stride enabler in my hand. What do I have to do in order to stride this turn, and so I can, get to GB? What the hell? I have to ditch 2 copies of Sazanda. I have to ditch my push because I have triggers in my hand. I have to ditch a perfect guard and a tidal assault. Sorry, I hit the thing. I have to ditch a perfect guard and a tidal assault. I have just lost my tidal assault, which was going to be my main card for this turn, so I can reach the 4th battle effectively. And it was my only grade 2 I had. There are a lot of scenarios that play into why a lot of these other decks can't provide the push turns or whatever it is that people are just saying. So when you talk about something, to me, it's just, don't assume that because they have these plays that they're going to get them all the time. Be conscientious of the fact that especially when you talk about decks that don't have search power or superior call ability, and I think blasters are the most consistent deck, from Wingo Blade being able to ride a blaster, and you can fill your lineup up with multiple blaster type cards. It's not always going to happen, riding a grade 1 blaster, but you can fill your entire grade 2 lineup of blaster cards and blah blah blah. But I'm like, you're not always going to have these plays. You're going to have to ride things. You're going to have to make sacrificial pitches for stride. So don't say it as if it's always going to happen. Be conscientious of it and just accept the fact that some decks, they have these plays, but you can't always execute them. Consistently. Decks like Aqua Force, Nova Grapplers, and things like that, we just have to play with the hands that we're dealt with, and that's the bottom line. And sometimes we just can't do what you think we can do all the time, basically. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.